Sigmatropic rearrangements. So sigmatropic rearrangements are molecular rearrangements in which a sigma bonded atom or group having one or more pi electron systems, they shift to a new location with the reorganization of the pi bonds, and such type of reactions they are called as sigmatropic reaction. And after the formation of the product, the total number of sigma bonds and pi bonds they remain unchanged. The number of bonds sigma plus pi they will always be same in reactant and the product. For example, if you see over here that this hydrogen atom is shifted from carbon 1 to say carbon J over here, then we say that sigmatropic change is coming from carbon 1 to carbon J, and order of the sigmatropic reaction is Ij. Similarly, in this case, this alkyl group goes from 1 to 3, and this is called as 1,3 shift of the alkyl group. Similarly, here this bond is breaking, and this one is going this place, this one dash is going this place, and a new bond is formed at 3,3 positions. So this type of breaking and formation of bond is called as 3,3 shift, or simply they are called as 1,3 sigmatropic reactions. These are called as 3,3 sigmatropic reactions. So likewise the order is given for different types of sigmatropic reactions. Now these sigmatropic reactions they are pericyclic reactions, and the tropic has come from the word tropis, which means turn, and sigma means migration of the sigma bond across a conjugated pi system, and then subsequently one part of the pi system changes or moves from one part to the another part of the intramolecular reaction, and simultaneously a rearrangement of the pi system also takes place, and then mn shift we can say is taking place between sigma and pi bonds. So when we say mn shift, that means sigma bond migrates across m atoms of one system and n atoms of another system. The nomenclature is given by Woodward Hoffmann. Uh, According to Woodward-Hoffmann rules of nomenclature, a general sigmatropic rearrangement can be classified as order Ij, meaning that a sigma bond originally between atoms denoted 1 and 1 dash adjacent to one or more pi systems is shifted between atoms I and J. So that means it migrates I minus 1 and j minus 1 atoms away from their original positions. When the sum of I and j is an even number, this indicates that involvement of all carbon atom chain as a neutral molecule. And when this I plus j is odd number, this indicates the involvement of a charged carbon atom or a heteroatom lone pair replacing a carbon-carbon double bond. So that means in case of 1,5 and 3,3 shifts, we call them as 1,4 and 2,3 shifts when heteroatoms they will be involved instead of carbon-carbon double bond. Now this is another way of showing 1,3 or 1,5 or 3,3 sigmatropic rearrangement. So here you can see this hydrogen is shifting from carbon 1 to carbon 3, 1 3 hydrogen shift. This hydrogen is shifting from 1 to 5. So 1 5 sigma tropic shift. And here again this bond breaks and this new bond is formed, and we call it as 3 3 sigma tropic rearrangement. Then, as per Woodward-Hoffmann rules, any uh, product formation in pericyclic reactions will take place only if the overlap in the transition state between reactants is a successful overlap. Only then the product will be formed. And in case of sigmatropic shifts, they can occur with either a retention or inversion of the geometry of the migrating group, depending upon whether the original bonding lobe of the migrating atom or other lobe is used to form new bond. In case the stereochemistry is retained, that is retention of configuration is there, stereochemical retention is there, the migrating group translates without rotation into the bonding position. So for example, say you see this example here, this is the group which is migrating to the other part of the molecule. Now you can see this lobe, this is migrating with the same sign, and this will be an affective overlap, and you can see that geometry of the group which is migrating remains same, and hence there will be retention of stereochemistry in the sigmatropic rearrangement. Similarly, if this is the case, that here the group which is migrating gets rotated and it overlaps with rotation, then inversion of the stereochemistry will take place. Here the inversion of the geometry of the migrating group has taken place, that is why the product formed is with inversion of stereochemistry. Similarly, in terms of Woodward-Hoffmann rules, we call these as suprafacial and parafacial shifts. That is, uh, depending upon whether inversion or retention is seen in the product will depend on whether this overlapping is suprafacial or antarafacial. And when the group which migrates it remains on the same phase of the molecule, then we say this is a suprafacial shift of the group. And if it enters from the other side of the molecule, we call it as antarafacial shift of the molecule. So that means if the migrating group remains on the same phase of the pi system, this shift is known as suprafacial. This remains on the same side of the pi system. If the migrating group transfer to the opposite phase of the pi system, then it is called as antarafacial. Here you can see that it is going opposite phase of the pi system, and such a shift will be antarafacial shift. If this type of shift is there, then there will be retention of configuration. If this type of shift is there, then there will be inversion of configuration. Then selection rules for sigmatropic rearrangement. Uh, we can remember any of these three things. That is, if the shift between dipole and the dipolarophile is supra supra or antara antara. Supra supra means on the same phase, and this is on the opposite phase of the pi system. Then if order of sigmatropic is ij and I plus j is if 4n plus 2, then such type of reactions they will be thermally allowed. And if under these circumstances I plus J is 4n, then these will be photochemically allowed. Similarly, if the overlap is supra and tara, then in such a system of sigmatropic shift, I plus J, if it is 4n, then it will be thermally allowed. If it is 4n plus 2, then it will be photochemically allowed. Or simply, if you are to remember that if the number of electron pairs they are odd, then supra-supra type of shift will lead to thermochemical reactions or thermal reactions. If number of electrons they are odd and shift is supra and tara, then geometry will be photochemically allowed. The reaction will be photochemically allowed. Similarly, if number of electron pairs is even, supra and tara will lead to thermal product and supra-supra will lead to photochemical products. So this will be photochemically allowed, this will be photochemically allowed, this will be thermally allowed, this will be thermally allowed, depending upon whether the number of electron pairs they are even or. Then is the types of sigmatropic rearrangements. First category is 1,3 hydrogen shift, and 1,3 hydrogen shift can take place through thermal hydride shift. So thermal 1,3 hydride shift, here a hydride moves 3 atoms, and as per Woodward-Hoffmann rules it will proceed with antarafacial shift, and such a shift is symmetry allowed, but the Mobius topology required in the transition state prohibits such a shift because it is geometrically impossible, which accounts for the fact that enols they do not isomerize without an acid or base catalyst. So for ketoenol tautomerism of enols, isomerization can only take place in presence of acid or base catalyst. So you can see over here, if hydrogen is to shift, then it has to invert its position, which is not geometrically possible. So that is why suprafacial migration is forbidden. And antarafacial migration is allowed because they have the same sign, these lobes, but hydrogen cannot bridge this distance between these two lobes on the opposite ends of the molecule. Then as I have told you that 1,3 shift will be a thermal rearrangement which will be allowed as per Woodward-Hoffmann rules, and this will be an antarafacial shift. Similarly, if we see the photochemically, this process requires two suprafacial components. Uh, this eliminates the geometrical constraints of having an antarafacial component, and this allows 1,3 hydrogen atom shift to occur. So thermally, we have seen that this is not allowed. Photochemically, it is allowed because here the lobe from which hydrogen has to shift and where it has to go they have the same sign. So this type of suprafacial shift can lead to the formation of product. So photochemically this rearrangement can happen. Then 1,3 alkyl shift, these are similar to 1,3 hydride shift, and it must proceed antarafacially. Here the geometry of the transition state is not allowed, this is prohibitive, but an alkyl group due to the nature of orbitals can invert its geometry to form a new bond with the back lobe of its sp3 hybrid orbital. So here what happens is that this can rotate and an overlap can take place. So suprafacial migration with retention of configuration is forbidden, but with inversion of configuration, this suprafacial migration can take place due to the ability of this alkyl group having sp3 orbitals which can invert its geometry, and product can be formed with suprafacial transfer or suprafacial shift with inversion of configuration. So, but these reactions, they are still not common in open chain compounds because of the highly ordered nature of the transition state. But in cyclic molecules, they generally happen 1,3 alkyl shifts. So this is one example where 1,3 supra shift taking place with retention of configuration. So 1,3 hydride shift takes place, and we will get this type of natural product from one type of natural product. Photochemically, this changes with retention of configuration. Then 1,5 hydrogen shift. This involves the shifting of hydrogen from carbon 1 to carbon 5. So you can see over here, in case of this cyclohexadiene, this hydrogen at carbon 1 goes from here to here. So 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So we are to count the number of carbons from this side, not from this side. So this is a 1,5 hydrogen shift. When this molecule is heated, this gets converted into this type of cyclohexadiene, and the shift is 1,5 hydrogen shift, and sigmatropic rearrangement will be called as 1,5 sigmatropic rearrangement. And as per Woodward-Hoffmann rules, these types of conversions, they can be done thermally at a temperature equal to more than 200 degrees centigrade, and reactions, they will proceed suprafacial shift. So we can see over here, if you are having this type of pentadienyl anion, then hydrogen can shift like this. Suprafacial migration is allowed because the lobes, they have the same sign. Then anterofacial migration is forbidden because they will have the opposite signs. Whereas when alkyl group is to migrate, then suprafacial migration with retention of configuration is allowed, and anterofacial migration with inversion of configuration will also be allowed. So 1,5 hydrogens, they can act like this. If hydrogen is to shift, hydride is to shift, then only suprafacial migration is allowed. Anterofacial migration is not allowed. Whereas if alkyl group is to move, then suprafacial migration is allowed with retention of configuration, whereas anterofacial migration is allowed with inversion of configuration. Then 1,7 hydrogen shift, 1,7 sigmatropic shifts, they are predicted by Woodward-Hoffmann rules to proceed in an anterofacial manner. And this is Mobius topology transition state which is there for these types of shifts. So an anterofacial 1,7 shift is observed in the conversion of lumisterol to vitamin D. And we have seen that this lumisterol can be converted into precalciferol through electrocyclic ring opening reaction, and this hexatriene system thermally through 1,7 sigmatropic shift can be converted into vitamin D2. So, conversion of precalciferol to vitamin D2 is an example of 1,7 hydrogen shift. So, you can see over here, this hydrogen is shifted from here to here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this is how hydrogen will be shifted from here to here. Then 1,7 hydrogen shifted bicyclic nonatriene. So here also you can see that this bond will come to this place, this will go to this place, this will go to this place, and this will move to this place, and 1,7 hydrogen shift will take place. And such type of shift in case of bicyclic compounds is called as walk rearrangement. So here a three-membered ring on heating is converted into this type of molecule. So what you have seen is that position of this bond will change from here to here. So then is 2,3 sigma tropic rearrangement. 2,3 sigma tropic rearrangements, they can be classified into two types. One is rearrangement of allylic sulfoxides, amine oxides, and selene oxides. And these rearrangements, they have been categorized in one category because all these rearrangements, they are taking place in a neutral environment. So they are rearrangements of neutral molecules or uh, neutral substrates, neutral substrates. Then second category is rearrangement of carbanions of allyl ethers, and these have been categorized under anionic molecules. So these are the mechanism for 2,3 sigma tropic rearrangement. Here, these types of allylic systems, you can see over here, Y and X can be sulfur, selenium, nitrogen, and even some cases you will see that these are oxygen also and selenium also. So this X and Y may be sulfur, selenium, nitrogen, carbon, and oxygen also. Uh, the most common among the 2,3 sigmatopic rearrangement are these ones. Somlat-Hausser rearrangement, where one of the XY groups that will be quaternary ammonium salt. Second, and Y here will be nitrogen. Then Y is nitrogen, then this is aza-Wittig reaction, where an alpha metallide tertiary amine is involved. So some metal is also there in addition to tertiary amine. Then if Y is oxygen, then this is 2,3 Wittig rearrangement. And if this Y is sulfur, this is Mislow-Evans rearrangement. So these are some of the common rearrangements of 2,3 sigma tropic rearrangement. Then other rearrangements are also known, where X or Y may change to other groups other than sulfur, selenium, nitrogen, etc. Now, first is Somlat-Hausser rearrangement. Here, this rearrangement, as I have told you, is of quaternary ammonium salts, and on reaction with a strong base like sodamide or potassium amide in presence of liquid ammonia as solvent, this will be converted into N-dialkyl benzylamines as the product. And the mechanism, from the mechanism you can see that conversion of these substrates into these products passes through 2,3 sigma tropic rearrangement as one of the reaction steps. So first what happens is that this acidic proton, due to the presence of positive charge on this nitrogen, is removed by this strong base, and we will get this type of benzylic gelide or carbanion will be formed. This carbanion will rearrange into this carbanion, where one of the hydrogen from this methyl will be shifted to this place, and this will become methylene carbanion. And this methylene carbanion will attack as a nucleophile on this ring, and this will move to this place, this bond will break, and we will get this type of system. This allelic system, this is the allyl group. This allelic system will change into the product through 2,3 sigma tropic rearrangement. So here this hydrogen will move from here to here, and we will get this as the product, and this is a 2,3 sigma tropic rearrangement. Then is Wittig rearrangement. Here this uh, Y is oxygen and X is carbon. You can see over here, this is carbon carbon double bond, this is next carbon, this is the allelic carbon, and this allelic carbon is having Y. So Y is oxygen, this is carbon carbon double bond, this is allelic, this is Y is oxygen, then X is carbon. So these types of substrates in presence of strong base like butyl lithium will create. So because of the presence of this oxygen, these uh, protons, they are acidic and they will be removed by butyl lithium, and you will be having a carbanion over here, and these will undergo 2,3 sigmatropic rearrangement, and we will get these products, and on hydrolysis these will give us enols as the product. So enols, they will be formed as the product. So this is an example of Wittig rearrangement in natural products. So you can see over here, this is the system, allelic system, Y is oxygen, this is carbon, and in presence of butyl lithium and THF, through this transition state, 2,3 sigmatropic rearrangement, we will get this allylic alcohols as the product. These types of enols, they will be formed as the product, and through several steps, these uh, enols, they can be converted into prostaglandins, which are very useful natural drugs. So this is the transition state of the rearrangement. You can see that a supra shift is taking place. Supra 2,3 sigmatropic shift is taking place, and you can see the lobes of overlapping, they have the same sign, so that is why this reaction is a allowed process. Then next is Aza-Wittig rearrangement. This is less common than the Wittig rearrangement, and here leaf of the ring strain accelerates the reaction. So here what happens is, you can see over, this is a aziridine ring, right? So this is the double bond, this is allelic position, that means Y is nitrogen and X is carbon, and in the presence of LDA, which will act as a strong base, this will undergo 2,3 sigmatropic shift, and we will get these types of intermediate compounds, which on decarboxylation will give us indolizidine 209B, which is utilized for the synthesis of this compound, and this is strawberry poison of the dart frog. So this was reported in Tetrahedron Chemistry in 1995. So there are only few examples of Aza-Wittig rearrangement. Only thing is that these types of rearrangements take place to relieve the ring strain which is present in the small ring compounds. And because of to relieve this ring strain, this three-membered ring changes into a six-membered heterocyclic ring through 2,3 sigmatropic rearrangement. Then some more examples of 2,3 sigmatropic rearrangement. One is sulfoxide rearrangement. Here you can see Y is sulfur, X is oxygen, and in presence of trimethoxyphosphite in methanol as the solvent, this undergoes 2,3 sigmatropic shift, and these types of intermediates they are formed, and these enols in presence of butyl lithium and phenyl sulfur chloride can also change into such type of substrates which can be transformed into products through 2,3 sigmatropic uh, rearrangements, which are called as sulfoxide rearrangement because of this function. This S positive O negative or S double bond O, these are called as sulfoxides. Then these types of sulfonium yellate rearrangements where Y is sulfur and X is carbon, and again in presence of a strong base like butyl lithium, this will create a carbanion over here, and this carbanion form will undergo 2,3 sigmatropic rearrangement to give us these types of dithiene heterocyclic products. Then Mislo-Evans rearrangement. Here also Y is sulfur, X is oxygen. These are also sulfoxide type of rearrangement, and here supra shift is there, and these rearrangements they are thermal in nature, and this rearrangement finds application in the synthesis of pyrenolide D natural product. This is the example how pyrenolide D is synthesized through 2,3 sigmatropic rearrangement, which is a Mislo-Evans rearrangement. You can see over here, this is the transition state, and overlap is supra. Both the lobes they have the same sign, and we will get these types of products after 2,3 sigmatropic rearrangement. So these types of sulfides, phenyl sulfides, on reaction with metachloroperbenzoic acid in dichloromethane, oxidation will take place, and these sulfides they will be converted into sulfoxides, and these sulfoxides, and this is the system which will undergo the 2,3 sigmatropic rearrangement to give us these types of products. So these products on further reactions can be converted into pyrenolide D, which is a natural product. So what will happen on reaction with triethylamine? This will be hydrolyzed, this oxygen sulfur bond will be hydrolyzed, and we will get enols as the product, and these enols on further reactions they can be converted into pyrenolide D, which is a natural product and finds application on the synthesis of many more types of biologically active compounds. Then some more examples of 2,3 sigmatropic rearrangements. One is ammonium yellate rearrangement. This is also called Stevens rearrangement. Y is nitrogen and X is carbon. So Y is nitrogen, X is carbon. Either this one or this one or this one, all these are carbons. But because this carbon is attached to an electron withdrawing group, that means removal of hydrogen from here will be better possibility than other carbons, and that is why butyl lithium will react at this, and we will get this type of yellate formed, and this yellate will undergo 2,3 sigmatropic rearrangement to give us these type of tertiary amines containing alkenes as the product through 2,3 sigmatropic rearrangement. Then all carbon rearrangement when X and Y both are carbon. So these types of systems here, because of the presence of this carbonyl, this carbon will be having acidic protons, and in the presence of copper 1, these are diazo compounds. This nitrogen can be removed very easily, and we will get these types of carbenes as the product. And these carbenes through 2,3 sigmatropic shift can be converted into ketenes. And ketenes in the presence of alcohols, can be converted into esters. So that is why these types of sigmatropic rearrangements, they are all carbon sigmatropic rearrangements are very important, because uh, these can be used for different type of functional group transformations, because here you will get esters and these can be hydrolyzed to acids, and then acids can be reduced to alcohols, and you can form a different number of organic compounds from these transformations. And then is Masson-Heuer rearrangement. Here Y is nitrogen, X is oxygen. So amine oxides, tertiary ammonium oxide over here, this will undergo 2,3 sigmatropic rearrangement, and we will ultimately get enols as the product, or allylic alcohols as the product after the reaction of this intermediate with zinc in STPs. So hydrolysis of oxygen nitrogen bond will take place, and we will get enols or allylic alcohols as the product through Masson-Heuer rearrangement of amine oxides. Then some other related rearrangement. Y is selenium and X is nitrogen. TS is tosylate. So these types of compounds, they will also undergo 2,3 sigmatropic rearrangement, and we can get allylic amines as the product. So this is the allyl carbon, and secondary amine is present over here. After hydrolysis with methanol, we will get allylic amines as the product. Similarly, these types of compounds in presence of sodium, this is chloramine T, in presence of trimethyl phosphate and methanol, can be converted into these types of ylides, where Y is sulfur and nitrogen is X. X is nitrogen, Y is sulfur, and these types of ylides, they can undergo 2,3 sigmatropic rearrangement to give us these types of intermediates, and these can be, because of the presence of this tosylate group, they can be easily cyclized to give us heterocyclic compounds as the product. So tetrahydropyroles, they can be formed as the product. Then is stereochemistry of these types of 2,3 sigmatropic rearrangement. The 2,3 sigmatropic rearrangement, they are stereoselective in nature, and they show high degree of stereoselectivity. And we can see that formation of E-alkene or trans isomer product is preferred in such type of sigmatropic rearrangement. So generally, E-alkene will favor the formation of anti-product, while Z-alkene will favor the formation of syn product. For example, you can see over here, this is an E-alkene, and after going through 2,3 sigmatropic rearrangement, we will get this product, and this product is equivalent to an anti-product. Whereas if you are having a Z alkane, then we will get a syn product of this type. So E will give you anti, Z will give you syn. So that is why the stereoselectivity is very high in such type of reactions. Then 2,3 sigma-tropic rearrangement, they can also undergo ring expansion reactions. So formation of carbon-carbon double bond will lead to the ring expansion reactions. This is one example. So this type of sulfinium yelide can undergo ring expansion reaction in presence of strong base like potassium tertiary butoxide, and we will get these types of products with this is the reaction which is involved where ring expansion will take place and this side chain will be included in the ring. This will act as a nucleophile when proton is removed from this place and this will move to this place and we will get this type of proton. Similarly, these types of hydrated thiosulfine, these types of cyclic sulfides, they react with copper 1 compounds in presence of these types of esters, diazoesters. So what will happen is that these diazoesters they will generate carbenes and these carbenes will interact with these sulfides and these types of ylides will be formed. So here Y is sulfur and X is carbon. So this is the allylic system and this system will undergo 2,3 sigma tropic rearrangement and ring expansion will take place and we will get. So this will act as a nucleophile. This will get attached to this carbon-carbon bond formation will take place between this carbon and this carbon. This bond will move to this place and this bond will break and we will get this type of cyclic structure where ring expansion has taken place. So from 5-membered sulfur heterocycle, this has changed into 8-membered sulfur heterocycle. Then similarly, ring contraction can also take place through these 2,3 sigma tropic rearrangement. So this bromoacetophenone can give us these types of quaternary ammonium salts when this is reacted with these types of tertiary amines. And this quaternary ammonium salts on reaction with uh, potassium or sodium methoxide in methanol can be converted into these types of products and similarly this can either have this configuration or these can have this configuration. This configuration will lead to the formation of these products through 2,3 sigma tropic rearrangement. These type of configuration will lead to the formation of this type of products through 2,3 sigma tropic rearrangement and the overall result is that 6-membered heterocycles they can be converted into 5-membered heterocyclic compounds. So ring contraction reaction has taken place in such type of 2,3 sigma tropic rearrangements. 3,3 sigma tropic rearrangements, these are the most well studied sigma tropic rearrangement and according to Woodward-Hoffmann rules these are 6 selectone reactions and these proceed suprafacially via Huckel topology transition state and these types of substrates they through rearrangement of different sigma and pi bonds they are converted into these types of products. Now if we see the geometry of reactant transition state and the product, either uh, these can be converted into products through chair geometry or board geometry. And because of the six member transition states, six electrons are involved, then the chair geometry is also a alloyed geometry because the overlap is superficial in nature, and we can see over here the orbitals with the same overlaps, they are overlapping with each other. That means this geometry is an allowed geometry. Similarly, if the configuration is a board configuration, then also this overlap is a suprafacial overlap, and hence board geometry is also an allowed geometry. So product can be formed either through chair geometry or through board geometry, but the amount of product formed will vary based on the stability of the chair geometry or the board geometry in a particular reaction. So we can see over here that HOMO and LUMO interactions, they will be there in case of anion and cation, and depending upon the gap between HOMO and LUMO of different substrates, the products they will be formed. So as I have told you, they proceed through superficial overlap, and Huckel topology transition state is there. And these three sigmatropic rearrangement, they are pericyclic reactions where the stereochemical outcome is governed by geometrical requirements of this cyclic transition state, which comes through Huckel topology. And the reactions, they generally proceed via a chair-like transition state in which 1,3 diaxial interactions, they are minimized. The maximum interaction is at the axial position, so they are minimum, and because these interactions, diaxial interactions, are minimum, that means the energy of the chair-like transition state will be lower and it will be more stable. So the transition state involved mostly will be a chair transition state, and these sigmatropic rearrangements, they are similar to aldol reactions. So these types of die-in systems, they are converted into these types of systems through 3,3 sigmatropic rearrangement. Most of the common uh, named reaction involving 3,3 sigmatropic rearrangements, they are Cope rearrangement, Oxy-Cope rearrangement, Asa-Cope, Claisen rearrangement, Carroll rearrangement, and this sigmatropic rearrangement also finds application in very common Fischer-Indol synthesis, very common and very important Fischer-Indol synthesis. Then first is Cope rearrangement. Cope rearrangement is a 3,3 sigmatropic rearrangement of these types of 1,5 dienes, and this was first reported by Arthur Cope, so that is why this is known as Cope's rearrangement. So for example, in this particular case, you can see that 3-methyl 1,5 hexadienes, when this is heated at 300 degrees centigrade, this gets converted into 1,5 heptadiene. So 3-methyl 1,5 hexadiene is converted into 1,5 heptadiene, and reaction is taking place by 3,3 sigmatropic rearrangement. And this rearrangement involves a concerted pericyclic mechanism, and these are the overlaps: pi 2 supra, sigma 2 supra, and pi 2 supra. 2 plus 2 plus 2 suprafacial overlaps, they are taking place, and this process, as per Woodward-Hoffmann rule, will be theoretically thermally allowed process. And the transition state for this type of reaction may be a chair transition state or a board transition state, and in case of 3,3 sigmatropic rearrangement. And it has been seen that chair transition states, they are preferred in open chain systems, whereas both transition states they are present in conformationally constrained systems like cis 1,2 divinyl cyclopropanes, that is in cyclic systems which are conformationally constrained. So both transition states are present in those types of compounds. So this is chair transition state is present in most of the systems, and these are present in some of the systems only where there is a constraint toward because of the conformation of the molecule. So we can see here that how in an open chain system the chair transition state is having a suprafacial overlap, and this leads to the formation of this type of product. So one type of dienes they are converted into another type of dienes through chair transition state, and chair transition state is mostly present in open system. You can see over here this is an open chain diene, and this gets converted into an open chain diene. This is a closed chain diene where, because of the conformation constraint of this cyclobutane ring, the transition state is more stable in board form. That is why we are getting this type of product through board transition state. Then the diastereoselectivity of different types of reactions in Pope rearrangement. We can see that in case of EE and ZZ dienes, these types of dienes, they will lead exclusively to formation of anti-3,4 diastereomers, whereas EZ and ZE isomers, they will give you 3,4 syn products. So they will get syn products, they will get anti products. You can see over here exclusively we are getting the anti products. Trans cis, here trans product is only 0.3%. Here trans product is 90%. Here it is only 0.3%. So this is a syn product, this is a anti product. So diastereoselectivity is highly maintained in Pope rearrangement. Then another example, that if we are having say R3 methyl 3 phenyl hepta 1,5 diene, this is the case. So here the conformation is R for this carbon, which will be involved in 2,3 in the rearrangement at 3,3 sigmatropic rearrangement. Now here the Cope rearrangement will proceed through chair transition state, and here there are two types of transition state through chair are possible. One is this is A transition state, and this is B transition state. We can see over here that in the transition state A, phenyl group, which is a bigger group, this is present at the equatorial position, whereas here the phenyl group is present at the axial position. The bigger group is present at axial position, and because of this transition state is less favorable as compared to this transition state. So because of that, because here the larger group is at the equatorial position, and hence this transition state is more stable, this will lead to the product formation through this product, and that is why we are getting a major product, that is 87% of the product through this transition state. And because this is less favorable state, we are getting only 13% of the product through this state. So this is again the stability of transition state will determine that which type of product will be formed. So this is a selective stereoselectivity of the reaction. Then as I have told you that the products they can be formed through boat like transition state also, and these are not observed for acyclic dienes, but however this is uh, an allowed transition state, and if steric factors make a boat transition state preferable to a chair, then reaction will proceed through a boat transition state. So depending upon what type of substituents are there and what are the steric factors, it will determine whether the reaction will proceed in boat transition state or chair transition state. And you can see over here also that this is also a open chain compound, but here the some of the product can also be formed through boat transition state depending upon the steric factors. So this is R molecule, and through this boat transition state this can be converted into this product. And if inverted boat, then we will get this type of product. So here B product will be formed, here Z product will be formed in the boat transition state transformation in the Cope rearrangement. Then as I have told you that ring strained molecules they also undergo Cope rearrangement, and the reaction takes place at much lower temperature in comparison to those molecules where there is no ring strain. So you can see over here this is a cyclopropane ring, and this undergoes Cope rearrangement only at 5 to 20 degrees centigrade. This is oxetane molecule, three-membered ring containing oxygen, and at 98 degrees centigrade this undergoes Cope rearrangement, and reactions they can take place at much lower temperature than the reaction proceeding for normal molecules, that is Cope rearrangement. The next is oxy-Cope rearrangement. In oxy-Cope rearrangement, an additional hydroxyl group is present at carbon 3 of the sp3 hybridized carbon. So we can say that we are having an alcohol portion present. So allylic alcohol part is present in such type of substrates. So enales, so these types of compounds will give us enales or enones as the products after oxy-Cope rearrangement. So when these are heated thermally, they are converted into these types of enols, and these enols through ketoenol tautomerism they are converted into either enales or enones depending upon the substitution present at this place. This rearrangement proceeds much faster rate when the starting alcohol is deprotonated. That means if this proton is not present, that is if some base is present, this proton can be deprotonated, and then in presence of a base the rate of reaction of oxy-Cope rearrangement will be much faster as compared to when there is no base present in the molecule. So for example, if we will use potassium hydride as the base, the reaction rate of reaction increases 10 to the power 17 times more than under the normal circumstances when there is no base present. So we can see over here, if we are having this allyl alcohol, normally if we perform this reaction in the sealed tube in the absence of any base, the reaction will take place at 175 to 215 degrees centigrade to give us this type of product. whereas when we are doing the same reaction in presence of potassium hydride using 18 crown 6 as the phase transfer catalyst, the reaction can be done at 0 degree centigrade in 60 minutes. This takes hours at this much of high temperature, whereas this can be done at 0 degree centigrade just in 1 hour. We can get the same product. After neutralizing this with the acid, we can get the same product. Then another application of oxycop rearrangement is in the synthesis of cockroach pheromone periplenone B. So you can see over here in the first instance, this is synthesized by photochemical 2 plus 2 cycloaddition, and this reagent on reaction with allyl magnesium bromide can be converted into this type of allylic alcohol, which you know can be a good substrate for oxyco rearrangement. And in the presence of base, this proton will be abstracted. This will become oxygen negative, and then this will undergo oxyco rearrangement to give us these types of products. And these products through thermal 4 electron lactocyclic ring opening can be converted into these types of molecules, and these molecules through different reactions through epoxidation can be converted into periplenone B, which is a cockroach pheromone used as a cockroach pheromone. So this reaction is oxyco rearrangement. So deprotonation here is also done with potassium hydride, and because of that the reaction proceeds at a very low temperature. Then these are some of the examples of oxyco rearrangement. You can see over here this allylic alcohol in presence of base will be converted into this product, and this can be done only refluxing at THF temperature for 18 hours. We can get these types of cyclic ketones as the product. Then these types of allylic alcohols, KH 18 crown 6 as phase transfer catalyst, only at room temperature in 18 hours can be converted into these types of products through oxyco rearrangement. Then these types of alcohols, these allylic alcohols, they will act as substrates this part of the molecule for oxyco rearrangement KH THF 25 degree centigrade, and these will undergo oxyco rearrangement and we will get these types of cyclic compounds. Then is azacope rearrangement. So this is nothing but a heteroatom version of the cope rearrangement. So here nitrogen is added in between. So in place of carbon we are having nitrogen molecule. So azacope is nothing but heteroatom version of the cope rearrangement, and this is again a 3,3 sigma tropic rearrangement where a single and double bonds they are shifted between two allylic components, and as per Woodward-Hoffmann rules these are thermal azacope rearrangement and they proceed suprafacially as we have seen in case of cope rearrangement. So azacope is same as cope rearrangement except that one of the carbon has been replaced by the heteroatom, that is nitrogen over here. And this azacope rearrangement is generally classified by the position of the nitrogen in the molecule. So here if you can see that here nitrogen is present at 2, so this is called as cationic 2 as a cope rearrangement. And if nitrogen is present at this position and forward reaction is taking place, we say this is 1 azacope. If backward reaction is taking place, we say this is 3-Azacough rearrangement. So depending upon the position of the nitrogen, we classify the Azacough rearrangement as 1-Aza, 2-Aza or 3-Azacough rearrangement. And out of these three types of rearrangements, most important is cationic 2-Azacough rearrangement. This is inherently uh, thermoneutral, means there is no bias for starting material or the product, as well as to the presence of charged heteroatom in the molecule, which will lower the activation energy of the reaction for conversion from reactant to the product. And this takes place at temperature of the order of 100 to 200 degrees centigrade, lower than that of coke rearrangement. And because of this cationic nature of 2-Azacough rearrangement, this will take place at a very low temperatures as compared to coke rearrangement. Then 1-Aza and 3-Azacough rearrangement, they are less common and they are just reverse of each other. If forward reaction is 1-Aza, backward reaction will be 3-Aza. They are reverse of each other. They have high activation energy barriers, and therefore their synthetic applicability is limited. So they are not of much synthetic utility. Only cationic 2-Azacough rearrangement is important in terms of synthetic utility. Moreover, and it takes place at a very lower temperatures as compared to the coke rearrangement. The example of 2-Azacough rearrangement, uh, when it was first time performed, this was due to a failed attempt to synthesize an amino alcohol. What was happening, that these types of amines on reaction with formic acid, they were converted into hydroxylamines, and it was being thought that these can be converted, these amino alcohols, they can be converted into an amine under addition of an acid. But instead of isolation of these amines, these undergo cationic 2-Azacough rearrangement, and after hydrolysis, these types of amines, they were formed after Azacough rearrangement. And these amines, they were accidentally formed. In actual, the thinking was to get these types of amines, which were never formed because of the presence of these acidic conditions. These immediately got converted into these types of amines, and these undergo cationic 2-Azacough rearrangement to give us these types of products. So basically, 2-Azacough for the first time was accidentally proved to get these types of products. Then transition state and stereochemistry of 2-Azacough rearrangement. They are highly stereospecific in nature, cationic 2-Azacough rearrangement, and it has a high preference for a chair transition state. So we can get pyrrolizidines with cis substituents from E alkenes and trans substituents from Z alkenes. They are highly favored, and results are indicative that a chair transition state is involved. You can see over here, uh, this is our substrate is having a E configuration, E alkene. Then through this transition state, 84% of the major product is formed by Azacough rearrangement when the transition state is chair transition state. And when transition state is a boat transition state, only 16% of this product is formed. Similarly, if we are having Z, alkene. Then also the major product that is formed 42%. This is the this is formed through chair, and this is uh, either not formed or it is formed in very small amount through both conformation. So the high preference is there for conversion of reactants into the products through chair transition state. Here 84% product is formed, and here 42% of product is formed through chair. Either these are not formed or they are formed in small amounts. Then applications of azacope managed reaction. This is very important application because managed cyclization is very important for synthesis of different types of organic compounds. So through cationic 2 as a co-rearrangement, these types of systems, they can be converted into these types of pyrrolidine ring. So this is a acyl substituted pyrrolidine ring is formed, and this functional group can be transformed into number of other function groups after organic function group transformations. The next is chelation rearrangement. Chelation rearrangement is a powerful carbon-carbon bond forming chemical reaction, and this was discovered by R.L. Chelation. So what they have done is they have heated allyl vinyl ethers through 3,3 sigmatropic rearrangement, and these allyl vinyl ethers on heating they are converted into gamma delta unsaturated carbonyl compounds. Gamma delta unsaturated carbonyl compounds. And during the kinetic studies, it was found that thermodynamic driving force was for this P bond and CCS bond formation. We can see over here that if this is hydrogen, and if this is replaced by larger groups like X, if this is replaced, H is replaced by a heteroatom, then the reaction becomes highly exothermic and reaction rate also increases. The reason is we can see that if this is H, then amount of energy required is more, activation energy is more, minus 30, whereas when this H is replaced by a heteroatom group, then this becomes lower. So energy requirement for transformation of the substrate into product, here energy of activation is more, here energy of activation is less. So that is why the reaction rate of reaction also increases and exothermicity also increases. The chelation rearrangement, this shows diastereoselectivity in terms of allyl vinyl ether, uh, depending upon whether it contains endocyclic carbon-carbon double bond or exocyclic carbon-carbon double bond. For example, when this is having endocyclic carbon-carbon bond, then at 144 degrees centigrade, the amount of diastereoisomers formed via chair transition state is 87 to 13%. So 87% of the product is formed where this group is equatorial position and this group is axial position, right? And whereas if the bonds, the reactants, they have exocyclic olefins like this is exocyclic, this was endocyclic, then the ratio of the diastereomer formed is 52 to 48. So depending upon whether the carbon-carbon bond is endocyclic or exocyclic, we will have diastereoselectivity of the chelation rearrangement. Then olefin selectivity also matters, that what kind of alkyl groups they are present and what is their position, whether they are equatorial or they are axial. depending upon that also product formation is dependent on. For example, if we are having extra substituents, then this will lead to enhanced diastereomers selection. So you can see over here, if these groups are alkyl group R and R dash, then ratio of E to Z, if this R is methyl and this is ethyl, then ratio of E to Z is 90 to 10%. And if it remains methyl and this becomes isopropyl, then it becomes more. So larger the group, higher will be the diastereo selection of the molecule. And if both are ethyl, then 90-10%. Similarly, larger the X group, better is the selectivity. So if there is, say, at this position, X position, if there we are having some more substituent, then the selectivity will be also affected. If this X is H, you have seen over here, ethyl and methyl, it is 90 to 10%. If I replace this H by methyl, that means there will be 3 alkyl groups now, and this selectivity will greatly improve to 99 to 1%. If this is methoxy, then also 99% to 1%. If it is NN dimethyl, then 98 to 2%. So that means the selectivity towards the formation of diastereomers increases as these three positions they are having more substituents. Then there are different variations of chelation rearrangement, and some of the important variations they are aromatic chelation rearrangement, Wallace chelation rearrangement, Eschen-Moser chelation rearrangement, Ireland chelation rearrangement, Johnson chelation rearrangement, Photo chelation rearrangement, Asa chelation rearrangement, Shan-Map reaction, Overman rearrangement, and Zwitterionic chelation rearrangement. So these are some of the common variations which have been seen over the years in chelation rearrangement, where one of the group changes from the basic substrate present in the chelation rearrangement. So first of all, aromatic chelation rearrangement. It is the first reported chelation rearrangement, and here an allyl phenyl ether is converted into the product through 3,3 sigmatropic rearrangement to give us ortho substituted phenols as the product. The compounds in these types of chelation rearrangements, they show a meta substitution effect. The regioselectivity of this rearrangement is affected. For example, if we are having electron withdrawing groups present at the meta position of the aromatic ring, then the rearrangement will be directed to the ortho position, and we will get 71% of the ortho product. Similarly, if we are having electron donating groups present, such as electron leasing groups, means methoxy or methyl or anything like that, then the rearrangement will take place at para position, and 69% of the product will be formed as para product. Additionally, if there are ortho substituents they are present, this will lead exclusively to the formation of para substituted rearrangement products. For example, in this allyl phenyl ether, we can see both the ortho positions they are substituted here also and here also. And when such type of allyl phenyl ethers they are heated, then the product formed is exclusively para product. No ortho or meta product is formed in such cases. When the ortho substituents they are present, then only exclusively we will get para product. The next is Ballast-Clasher rearrangement. Uh, this reaction takes place in case of allylic ethers, amines, and thioethers with ketones. And product of these reaction is gamma delta unsaturated esters, amides, and thioesters. And this rearrangement was first observed in 1979 through the synthesis of a key intermediate of an insecticide, pyrethroid, where if we are having these types of substrates, where X can be oxygen, sulfur, or nitrogen, when these are reacted with ketanes, then we will get these types of unsaturated esters, amides, or thioesters as the product. So, and in most of the cases, these R1 and R2 they are electron withdrawing groups like halogen, and because high electrophilicity is required in these substrates, only then this type of rearrangement will take place. That is why we usually have halogen atoms as R1 or R2. Then is Aschen-Moser chelation rearrangement. Uh, this proceeds by heating allyl alcohols in the presence of N dimethyl estamide dimethyl acetate to form again gamma delta unsaturated amides as the product. And this was reported by Albert Aschen-Moser in 1964, and this was used as a key step in total synthesis of morphine. So we can see these types of allylic alcohols. So, and in presence of these types of N dimethylestamide dimethyl acetals, they are converted into these intermediates which are transformed into gamma delta unsaturated amides as the product. And this is the mechanism of the reaction. In the first step, N dimethylestamide dimethyl acetal, it gets converted into this type of carbon nitrogen system, where what happens is this lone pair of nitrogen is shifted to this place and one of the methoxy is removed from here. This will create a carbon nitrogen double bond and create a positive charge on the nitrogen. Then allyl alcohol will react with this intermediate form, and the lone pair of electrons present on oxygen will act as a nucleophile to attack this carbon, and this will charge on nitrogen will be neutralized, and we will have now positive charge on oxygen which is not stable. This hydrogen will go as H positive, and we will get this type of intermediate, and then this intermediate will undergo 3,3 sigmatropic rearrangement to give us these types of gamma delta unsaturated amides as the product. The next is Ireland chelation rearrangement. Here the allylic carboxylates in the presence of strong base such as lithium diisopropylamide, they gave gamma delta unsaturated carboxylic acids, and the reaction proceeds at room temperature. So we can see over here this is an allylic carboxylate in presence of LDA, that is lithium diisopropylamide, and trimethyl chlorosilane TMSCl. This type of intermediate is formed, and this undergoes 3,3 sigmatropic rearrangement to give us these types of gamma delta unsaturated carboxylic acids: alpha, beta, gamma, delta, unsaturated carboxylic acids, they are formed as the product. And this rearrangement proceeds via silyl ketene acetate. This is silyl ketene acetal, which is formed, and this is formed by reacting with lithium inolate present in chlorotrimethylsilane, and different this allyl alcohols E and Z allyl alcohols, they form E and Z silyl ketene acetals, and they will give us different products. One E will give anti products, whereas Z will give same product after rearrangement. We can see this example. So this type of E configuration is there in the silyl ketene acetal, and through chair conformation they are converted into anti-product. Whereas when these types of Z configuration of silyl ketene acetal is there, then through chair transition state they can be converted into syn product. So the reaction is stereoselective depending upon the configuration of the silyl ketene acetal formed during the formation of intermediates. Then is Johnson-Clason rearrangement. Here, allylic alcohols, they react with an orthoester, and gamma delta unsaturated esters, they are formed as the product. So this is allylic alcohol. This trimethoxy orthoester, it reacts with, and we will get these types of intermediate, and when these intermediates they are heated, we will get gamma delta unsaturated esters as the product. Alpha, beta, gamma, delta unsaturated esters, they are formed as the product. And weak acids, they act as catalysts during the reaction, and weak acid like propionic acid, they act as a catalyst for these types of reaction. And reaction takes place at 100 to 200 degrees centigrade, and this requires 10 to 120 hours for completion of the reaction. However, if we perform the same reaction in under microwave, in the presence of KSF clay or propionic acid, then there is a drastic increase in reaction rate and yield of the products. Then is acylation rearrangement. Here, substrate is an aminium compound, and this undergo rearrangement in presence of n-butyl lithiums to give us these types of unsaturated heterocyclic compounds as the product. Then Chen map reaction. This is also a 3,3 phosphorimidate rearrangement, or this is a Stronger-Clason reaction, this is also known as. So here a phosphine is replaced to the alcohol. In place of alcohol we will use phosphite as the substrate, and then this through 3,3 sigmatopic rearrangement, this will be converted into an amine as the product. So first, these allylic alcohols, they are reacted with these types of phosphites, and this will convert these allyl alcohols into these phosphites on Strozinger reaction. This will give you phosphorus gelates, and through Clason reaction these are converted into these types of amines as the product. Then is Overband rearrangement. This is also a type of Clason rearrangement where allylic trichloroestamidates, they are converted into allylic trichloroestamidates. So here these types of allylic alcohols, they react with these types of highly electron withdrawing trichloro compounds, and they give us allylic trichloroestamides as the product. Then last is Jupiter ionic chelation rearrangement. These take place at or below room temperature, and here acyl ammonium ions they are formed, and they acyl ammonium ions they get converted into amides as the unsaturated amides as the products after Jupiter ion chelation rearrangement. Uh, then is chiral rearrangement. Uh, this involves the transformation of beta keto allyl ester into alpha allyl beta keto carboxylic acids. And these alpha allyl beta keto carboxylic acids they undergo decarboxylation to give us ultimately gamma delta allyl ketones as the product. And final product is these types of uh, gamma delta allyl ketones from beta keto allyl esters through 3,3 sigma tropic rearrangement, and such type of rearrangement is called as Carroll rearrangement. So this is a type of Claisen rearrangement. Uh, uh, Additionally, it has a decarboxylative alylation step. Then last type of 3,3 sigma tropic rearrangement is Fischer-Tropsch synthesis. So this is very important reaction for the synthesis of indole, and the whole process of conversion of phenyl hydrazine into indole proceeds through 3,3 sigma tropic rearrangement like this. Then is 5,5 sigma tropic rearrangement. So these are similar to 3,3 shifts, but they would proceed superficially, and only a few examples they are known for 5,5 sigma tropic rearrangement. So these types of phenyl diallyl ethers they react on heating, and they are converted into these types of para products. Unsaturated ketones they are formed, and through tautomerization they are converted into lineages. So these are the various resources which have been used for formation of this lecture. Thank you.